Hey everybody, Ghost Cat here. Welcome back to Prototech or Bust, the series where I start from scratch and work to acquire a Prototech of my very own. In today's episode, we bring along a couple of friends. Mistakes are made, and there is an issue with our ride home. So, without further ado, we are off like a herd of turtles. And remember, for more Space Engineers feline antics, do the things. Yep, you know the ones. Well, everybody, picking up from where we left off last week, we've got this Prototech assembler that needs to be installed. I've been doing some thinking about how I want to get this installed and adjust our production facilities down in the storage facility, but before we do that, there's a little matter of this boom that needs to be installed on our base. I decided to grab it after all, so I'm going to grab the block ferry, the barn cat as I've come to start calling it, and I'm going to get this moved into place. It's going to end up attaching right here. It'll extend out in this direction, and what it'll effectively do is delineate the ship breaking area in this upper tier from this area down here that currently has the alley cat and the searching paw, as well as the entrance to the hangar for the small grid Prototech-based ship I plan on building. I also may use this space down below the boom to start building larger warships. We'll get to that at some point, however, that will be a task for another day. First thing we gotta do, like I said, is get this boom into position. And there it goes, folks. It just welded itself. I was jumping out to see how I had to move it so that it would weld correctly, and she snapped right into place. Better shut this light off real quick. Alright, what I actually ended up doing was sticking in an event controller so that when the Junkyard Tom leaves its dock and comes over here to start breaking down a ship, those lights will come on, warning people not to come in the area. I should actually get the Tom going. I had stopped it because we were swinging that boom into place, but we've got to finish breaking down this ship. We've got more somewhere, over there somewhere, slated for destruction. So, let's get this guy going real quick. And there it is. When the Tom heads off to do its work, the lights kick on and give warning. Eventually, I'll probably put some spotlights on here to point at whatever ship's getting broken down, but I think this is a good start. And down here, we've got the antenna and the beacon that we can convert to our own use, as well as this nice little control area that has some goodies I missed. Some silver ingots, some uranium ore, some magnesium ore. So what about this? Oh wow. Got some Prototech propulsion units, which we're going to need for that thruster. Some cooling units. And some other components. That's an excellent little bonus find that I had not anticipated. But as I was about to say, this little area, we can set it up to where, eventually, when I start building ships in this area down below, I want to have some welder arms that come off of this boom that'll be controlled from a control seat either up in here, or we'll put a control area down here where it can see what it's doing, and we'll be able to weld up larger ships that won't fit in our welding array, because I think this is about the biggest I want to do for a welding array. I think welding bigger ships would pose a bit much of a challenge, and as it is, it takes a while to weld off a Bobcat because component production is somewhat slow. However, that's something I do want to look at today when we're tearing into that asteroid base. But now that we've got this boom installed, That's actually our next task. I am running out of oxygen. I wasn't paying attention. It's a good thing we put this medical room down here. That's what happens when you stop paying attention for a second in space. Oh, would you look at that? You're just turning up around here everywhere, aren't you? Well, we're going to be doing some renovations down here, so keep an eye out. We might flush out some space mice. So, folks, the plan down here is to put the Prototech assembler in this slot right here. However, that's going to mean moving our current assembler, which I think I want to move to this slot here. However, over here on this other side, we also have two similarly sized slots. And I was thinking, I'm going to leave this one here as a little storage area. And then the area above hosts the little habitation area that we've got down in this storage facility. However, the two of these, I think I'm going to put to good use. This one here, directly opposite the one where I plan on putting an assembler, is going to house a second assembler. That way we have two assemblers fully kitted out with all speed modules to enhance production and hopefully keep up with the welders when I need a new fighting ship. This slot right here is going to host a large reactor. I want to make sure this base has plenty of power. Right now we're running everything off this one small reactor, and while it has thus far performed quite adequately, as we start to increase the amount of machinery and the demands we're putting on it, I just want to make sure that it's fully up to the task. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is open up and clear out the section for at least the first assembler. And while I'm at it, I might as well do the one for the second assembler and the reactor. Alright, that should work just fine. I've got both of the bays on this side of the hangar cleared out, as well as this one over here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is move this assembler over to this side so that we can get that Prototech assembler in. And I chose this side first because we're already conveyored. That way, once I pop it in, I can just build a welder and let it weld itself up. Excellent. I love it when machines do the work for me. I'm going to have to remove this antenna, I think. That's right in the way of where one of our modules is going to need to be. Excellent. With that antenna out of the way, now I can get these modules in here. Alright, and that takes care of that. Now we can pull that old assembler out and bring the Prototech one in. Goodbye, old assembler. We're gonna miss you. Excellent. And now to go grab the Prototech assembler. I had to remove the floor there real quick so that we could get this thing in. But here we go. And there goes the weld pad, folks. Our Prototech assembler is installed. And there it is, folks, the Prototech assembler. Right next to its buddy, the Prototech refinery. That is a fantastic thing to see. I've been wanting to see one of those for a long time. Now we can make the Prototech components we need to repair things like the broken thruster and whatnot. Although I think those broken gyroscopes are going to get ground down for Prototech scrap, so we have some raw materials to work with. However, before I mess with any of that, I want to get that second assembler and the refinery installed really quick. And then we can start bringing Prototech blocks down here for storage. Excellent. This should work out quite nicely. All the power for the cat tree is now being drawn off this reactor here. And right here we have the second assembler, which, like its compatriot on the other end of the hangar, is running 4 speed modules. So I think the next step is going to be to go and grab the Prototech blocks we have up topside and bring them down here and put them into storage. That, and decide which ones I'm going to grind down for scrap. Like I said, probably those 2 busted up gyroscopes. And maybe we'll even have enough components to make some headway on repairing that large thruster. So I'm going to grab the barn cat here and start getting that taken care of. So, as I was ferrying blocks down to the storage area, I realized that the Junkyard Tom has finished breaking down the first ship. That's pretty cool. So, now I'm going to go grab one of these and get it on over there and get it to work on the next one. Before too long, we'll have cleared all our derelict ships. And then that means we can go make some more.
Health critical.
Oh, so close. I was in the airlock. Well, at least my backpack is conveniently placed. Back down here in the storage area, I've got the 2 good Prototech gyroscopes. The 2 that were busted up I ground down, got us about 200 Prototech panels and 2 pieces of Prototech scrap. We've got the small grid Prototech thruster I'd captured, as well as the 1 battery that isn't in use. And then we've got this great big honkin' thing. So I'm going to see what I can do to maybe get this repaired, get as many Prototech panels as we've got into it, and see what other components we've got that will hopefully help stop it from sparking and fizzing and kicking off all this smoke. Well, everybody, I was working on this thruster, and all we need is 50 propulsion units. And while we don't have enough scrap to make 50, I was going to make what we could, and they wouldn't make. And I realized we've used up all our platinum, so I'm going to have to go mine some platinum really quick. Luckily, I've got that Prototech drill, so it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, everyone. Just got back from that mining trip, and the asteroid I went to, in addition to platinum, also had a gold deposit, so grabbed myself a little bit of each. I got about 400,000 kilos of platinum ore and 600,000 kilos of gold ore, so that should hold us over for a bit once it refines. As you can see, we've got the Junkyard Tom busting down this broken Bobcat pretty well, so hopefully it'll finish that up soon and we can get the next one in the queue into demolition. While the refinery refines and the Bobcat gets broken down, the next thing I want to look at is maybe throwing some defensive turrets on here. I can't imagine we'll remain unattacked forever. At some point, even if it's only pirates, I have a feeling that someone's going to find us here and try to take a little bit of what we got going on, so I'm going to take a look around and figure out where to put some turrets, and we can get those installed real quick. Alright, got some turrets thrown on here. Took longer than I expected it to, but it seems that anything with conveyors always does. Down here on the main entranceway, I've got some assault cannon turrets. 2 there, 1 on each of the sides, and 1 down below. Moving up to the main section, to the top struts, I've got an artillery turret here, and if you move over to the other side, we have a matching one here. I also put one over here because this section extends quite a bit, and at some point, I'm probably going to put some turrets on top of some of these welders. I also built this monstrosity. Looks kind of like a duck. This is our great big dual railgun turret. This is so that any big ships that think they can come our way, at least we'll hopefully get a couple good shots in before they get too close and start tearing up our base with their big guns. That, and I thought it would be fun to build a dual railgun turret. I'm sure you've noticed that the ship that was here is currently no longer here. While I was doing all this conveyoring, I kept cycling ships through for the Junkyard Tom, And as you can see, it's just about finished gobbling up yet another one. At this point, I've managed to get rid of all of our derelict ships that were wrecked in battle, and as much as I love these ships, I've decided to start breaking down the ships that we no longer use anymore. This drill ship here, while it was one of the first ones we had, has been superseded by the ship with the Prototech drill. So, I named that ship, which is still parked down there. You can see him in the distance. I named that one the Searching Paw 2, in tribute of this one, and this is the next ship, slated to go into the demolition area. I also decided that most of this ship, well, about 2/3 of it, is also slated for demolition. I'm going to break down the jump drive section as well as the tanks, because ever since we got the Prototech jump drive and put the hydrogen storage tanks over here on our jump ship, I really haven't used this tanker ship at all. So I'm going to break down, like I said, the tanks and the jump drive section. However, this little front hydrogen powered bit, I think I'm going to keep and repurpose. Maybe throw a landing gear on the front and use it to move around derelict ships and larger things that Barncat just sometimes struggles with. So that's the plan for those ships, and at some point I do want to put more turrets. Definitely some over here, and like I said, on top of the welders, but after all that conveying, I kinda needed a break. What I am thinking would be something fun to do, however, is to print off a Bobcat and maybe a couple drones, and go check out a Factorum encounter. Several have cycled through while I've been working on this, it seems like. Haven't really been paying much attention, but every once in a while, you look up and realize that it's at a different distance in a different location. So, as the Junkyard Tom keeps crunching through these ships, I'm gonna hop over here and start preparing for another little mission. After getting those ships printed up, I printed up 2 interceptor drones and 1 Bobcat. They're over there hooked to the jump ship. I got everything outfitted and ready to go on this mission, and the unidentified signal was down to just under 20 minutes. So I started working on a project that came to mind when I was laying out turrets. These hydrogen tanks are very exposed. If anyone came in and attacked us, all they'd have to do is shoot these things up a few times, and it would blow off this whole section of our base, maybe more, which would be quite unfortunate. I've spent some time working on this, and I'm starting to kind of like the place. What I've decided to do is put the hydrogen tanks underneath the base. That way, they'll at least be partially protected from enemy attack by a combination of the base and the asteroid. Admittedly, it is a little open this way, but it's a whole lot more enclosed and protected than this up here. So, while we wait for that timer to tick over and a new encounter to spawn, I'm going to build these tanks real quick and hopefully get our hydrogen supply all swapped over before we head out to encounter the Factorum. Fantastic. I got the hydrogen tanks moved down here between the bottom of the base and the asteroid. I like the way it looks, a whole lot better than when they were up here. I should have just done it that way in the first place. But, in any event, it's time to go check out this new Factorum encounter that just spawned in. It's almost 13,000 kilometers away, so this is probably going to take us a few jumps. So, let's get a move on, shall we? So, as I was sitting here waiting for the jump drive to charge to make our final jump to this signal, I noticed it appeared to be moving towards us at quite a rapid pace. That tells me it's one of the ships. Either one of those derelict ships that we found, or possibly one of the warships. So I'm going to drop us in about 50 kilometers ahead, and that'll give us time to get our drones ready, and then we can take our drones and go check this out. Well, we're about 70 kilometers out. For some reason, calculations with distance on this jump drive can be a little funky. but that gives us plenty of time to get set up and ready to go. Alright, so after a little bit of fiddling, I was able to get the settings on the AI blocks the way I needed them, the same as I had them last time. It appears that unidentified signal has stopped moving this way quite so fast, so we're a bit far out, but our little battle group is ready and we're going to start heading in. And we're off, like a herd of turtles. I don't know what these guys are doing, but they're supposed to be heading towards that unidentified signal. And they're just kind of waffling about. Well, this one guy seems to be headed that way, so let's follow him and see if the other one follows. Well, so far so good. We got one ahead of us and one behind us. 50 kilometers to go, give or take. Alright, after a quick regroup at about 10 kilometers out, I think it's time to head in for battle. So, let's send the order to the interceptors, and we'll start moving in. Well, first I should probably turn their combat blocks back on. I just didn't want them to catch that pirate raider on the way over here. Derail our whole plan. Alright, here we go. Alright, we were approaching the 3-kilometer threshold. I say it's time we get ready for combat. Yep, this is a warship. They have detected us as hostile. Alright, here we go. Whoa. That was over quick. Well, bummer. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on out there. My body's all the way out there. Must have destroyed our ship pretty good. So, I'm gonna head over there with the spectator camera and see how well our drones are doing. If they're doing at all. Well, there's one of our drones. I don't see the other one. Well, it appears we still cannot take on a Factorum warship, even with the technology we possess. The ability to have drones and print off the Bobcat. We're gonna need a bigger ship. Well, that's unfortunate. Suppose at this point there's nothing to do but to head back home, regroup, and prepare to fight another day. So, I was curious, from a shipbuilding perspective, what went wrong. As I'm waiting for the jump drive to recharge to make the second jump that will get me back to the cat tree, I decided to use the spectator camera to come check out the remnants of the Bobcat, which is currently hurtling through space quite rapidly. And there aren't many remnants. Looking at the damage, I have one suspicion. It's those rockets. Because the hydrogen tanks are back here. 2 of them are even still intact. But whatever took me out, it must have been a blast to the front that hit that cargo container containing the rockets. I don't know if that area is just lightly armored or what it is. So, as we move forward, if I want to take on those Factorum warships, I'm going to need a larger battle cruiser. I'll have to think on that. I've been dinking around with some basic designs already, but this just sort of underscores the need for it. Because that was fast. I didn't even last 30 seconds. Alright, back to the cat tree. Made it back to the cat tree, and it looks like that warship that smoked us will be despawning in 12 minutes, which hopefully means another encounter will spawn in. That gives us time to print up another battle group and have another go at it. Takes me about 10 minutes per ship usually, so I'm going to head over and get that done. And then we'll go and try our luck again. That was over too quick. I can't call it quits with that. Vengeance will be ours. Well, here we are. A new battle group and a new unidentified signal. Sounds like a perfect match. Let's go check this out, shall we? 13 kilometers out. Let's get our battle group together and we'll go investigate this unidentified signal. Alright, they are both set to follow, so let's head this way. We'll regroup once again at probably 3 to 5 kilometers out. We just crossed the 10-kilometer threshold, and it appears this is a Factorum outpost. I believe that's the same type of base that blew up on us last time, if I'm correct. Well, we'll find out. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. That would be rather unfortunate. Alright, we are inside 2 kilometers. And still no ships. This is very reminiscent of that previous encounter. I wonder if the drones have picked up on any weapons yet. I've got them set to target weapons as well. We don't want to destroy anything good. Well, it appears there's some weapons. Let's get rid of this beacon if we can. Or maybe we can't. Really? Apparently I can't hit this beacon to save my life. I suppose that's what I get for using the turret instead of my ship-mounted guns. Is that an invincible beacon? Alright, we'll get that dot right on it. There it goes. It's about time. Well, I'm gonna go investigate this, but if I remember correctly last time, when we went in to investigate, some ships came in to attack. So, I'm going to set a move block and a combat block to attack anything with weapons. So hopefully, if we get ambushed while we're inside, these 3 ships can hold off the enemy while we steal their goodies. I'm going to get that set up and then we're going to go investigate this base. Alright, autopilot and combat block are enabled. Let's go see what's in this base. Alright. Here we go. I think we went in that way last time, so I think I'll come in this way this time. We have 48 minutes to claim. Oh no, warhead's armed. Detonation in 3 minutes. Oh, it sounds like there's a battle going on. There's a Factorum warship that's probably going to smoke our ship, so I should probably get this claimed. So that even if all is lost, we can still come back and hopefully get some goodies. I know it's a bit a bit cheesy, but it's down. Ooh, there's one of the warheads. Better go get that. One warhead disarmed. Well, there's the second warhead, which means there's probably a turret on line of sight from there. Otherwise, that would be too easy. Oh, I can see it. I don't know if I got it, but... Oh, there goes my cover. Oh, it's still there. Oh, I got it. Get this warhead. Oh, there's just one more warhead. No one's shooting at me. Ooh, that's a shoot. What's down here? Aha, number 3. There, that's all 3 warheads. How do we get out of here? I'm not seeing any signals from outside. I do know that there's usually a second... Oh yeah, would you look at that? We better find a way to claim those. Alright, we claimed that grid. Still hearing explosions from somewhere. Oh, that Factorum warship is destroying the Bobcat. It must have gotten one of the AI blocks. This poses a bit of difficulty, because that's our ride home. Shall we see if we can get on that Factorum warship, just for fun? Let's go chase down this warship. See if we can't get it. Oh, fatally wounded by heavy weapons fire. Well, here we are. We're in a bit of a predicament, because we claimed the grids, so they won't despawn, and I managed to disarm the warheads, but we can't go back there. We're kind of stuck here, because that Factorum warship isn't going to let us just come waltzing in. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. Well, what I think I'm going to do is jump back to the cat tree, maybe print up another ship, at least something I can fly in closer, but really, by the time I get all that done, the encounter will have despawned and a new one spawns. So I suppose, one way or the other, we're waiting for the encounter timer to tick over. So, back to the cat tree. Weird. I just made that first jump, and I was waiting for the jump drive to recharge, and it appears the encounter has ticked over. Thought it had 45 minutes. That wasn't 45 minutes. I wonder if that Factorum warship is still there. Because I left a GPS marker before I attacked that Factorum warship, I'm just going to jump back and see if that warship's still there. It'd be nice if it were gone, but if not, we're going to have to figure out a way past it. So far, so good. I don't see any enemy warship. Just a signal from that station. Gotta find out where that antenna is and get rid of it. That might summon more enemies. Well, folks, it appears that we have captured another base, despite the fact that it might have been in a slightly skeezy, underhanded way. But sometimes I'll take whatever victory I can get. Looks like we got ourselves a large grid Prototech thruster, which is going to go excellently in the new battle cruiser I want to build, as well as a couple of small grid Prototech gyroscopes, which we have yet to acquire any of those. At least one of those is going to have to go onto my personal Prototech yacht. I would say it's time to head back to the cat tree, and we'll grab our block ferry and come back here and loot this base for all it's worth. However, that will be a task for another day, as unfortunately our time has come to an end today. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I certainly have. There were a few ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we won through. Kinda. So, next time, we'll get this base looted, we'll get this thruster back, and hopefully start making some progress on building a new battle cruiser. And, as usual, probably chase down some more Prototech, because I want it all. So, until next time, as always, have a great day.